Yeah. Well,
So
the other part too is I'll share screen here. If Performance Max was working, so if Performance Max was working, this here should not have been possible.
yeah,
If Performance Max was working, this should not have been impossible, because if Performance Max was working, I'd spend this, I wouldn't get that. This would increase, and so would that. The exact opposite happened if Performance Max was working.
yeah,
So that is if you wanted to run a standard shopping, or even if a DSA, or even a broad match search against your Performance Max, and purposely allow it to have a higher ad rank, which means don't use as restrictive bidding strategies on your standard shopping campaigns or your search campaigns alongside your PMAX campaigns. But if you can launch those and make them more aggressive than your Performance Max, and your Performance Max doesn't lose performance, it was not performing.
yeah. No, I mean,
Just by
straightforward as
virtue of it.
that. It's
Right.
a lot easier for people to see, so
Mhm.
it makes sense. You don't have to get into like third party attribution, like show, hey, look, like it's reporting a bunch of new, but we scale it and it didn't work. You have to do those
Yeah.
kind of holdouts or pushes to see.
Yeah.
So it makes
Performance Max is not efficient in every channel, period.
yeah, and it's interesting because like we used to think it was one of those things to where you can just go and scoop up, traffic from any channel, and it's great, and that could have just been the, I guess the benefit that they gave it of just being top priority and taking credit from everywhere else. So
Yeah.
that's
Dylan says,
so weird.
sheesh, this feels like a throwback. I know, right? It's like we've gone back in time and then back in the future. I don't know. We went
Yeah,
back to
no,
the future
it's
Mark.
weird. It's just it's odd because like I don't know. I wonder if with all the changes going on with Performance Max, if they're going to carry that over to demand gen in the far future and how that's going to impact. I don't know. I'm just thinking of like the YouTube ecosystem now, like how that's going to work.
Mark my words, in 2026, we're getting YouTube back.
Yeah.
2025, we lose it to demand gen. 2026, it comes back.
I mean, that tends to be what happens because, I mean, it is like they look at data and they say, oh, this is reporting more. Sweet. Do more of this. And it's like, well,
Mhm.
yes, but no. So I wonder if that will spark a potential fix on YouTube's attribution, but I don't think that'll happen.
No, I think, what's interesting is I think YouTube is only going to get dumber, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And at scale, it gets stupider just because it's like, well, there's even more people that are seeing as I can't count.
Yeah.
So your errors become extrapolated. um, but it definitely is showing that the Performance Max campaign is much more driven by the nose from other outside influences. And I can't even spend as much in standard shopping to even take away the signal that Meta's giving it. So people
Mhm.
ask me, what do I do with my PMX campaign? And I always answer, well, it depends. Don't take this strategy and just apply it to your account. If this is surprising to you, the first step you should take is really diving in to the actual metrics that campaign is producing in cost, cost per click, the channel it's on, the warm versus cold audiences, the warm versus cold customers, like if they're a non-customer versus customer, the in-app scalable ROAS that it can contribute versus its contribution margin to the top line. If you haven't gone through all those steps yet, before you just throw another campaign in and say, I don't know how to, potentially even read the results, because we're figuring it out right now. Don't skip the step that we took, though. Dive into these things in a very, very, very deep sense. Because once we used on accident, I swear to God, it was on accident. It was the most glorious thing in the world. I'm so happy that accident happened, where it's like, oh yeah, I don't know why our asset group is going to a different page than our PLA. I'm like, oh, I can see the difference. Once we saw that, oops, I got rid of the wrong one. Once we saw that difference there, this right here, I was like, Jesus Christ. This is nothing but just a gigantic remarketing campaign. I
Yeah.
mean, you got 22,000. Next one down is less than 2. We are over 90% remarketing. And this was their main campaign, spending $2,000 a day. Would anybody in their right mind say, guys, I got it. I'm going to take a dynamic remarketing campaign. I'm going to spend all my money there. Like, trust me, And I'm going to set new customer acquisition on. That's what this PMax campaign is right now, which is why standard shopping campaigns like, oh, I can find a new customer. Why? Well, no one else is going after them in Google. It's all mine. But
Yeah.
holy shit. And this was a PMax campaign that was unencumbered. It was not competing against anything.
Well, so what this highlights, I think, is the inventory push. I really do. Like, I think all of that lines up to inventory. I mean, the only other argument I can see is like lower CPCs, which means that it has more shots at getting, more converters. Yeah, exactly. But like
more at bats.
Yeah, exactly. So I wonder if, I mean, the only thing that I could see getting away from that would be, well, it's stuck on a conversion-based bidding, but being very unrestricted. But even then, like the fact that it's pushing more into display and discovery, I mean, it seems like they're just trying, like this is just evidence to them just pushing inventory and not necessarily pushing like what you want, even if they have the data. So
it's 100%. They pushed inventory. Then what they also did at the same time is they made it so cheap that it has to attribute. And then they lowered the barrier of threshold for attribution, things like engage views and things like a shorts engage views at 5 seconds instead of 10 seconds on horizontal, and then automatically creating the shorts for you. So it's like, okay, as long as I can use my inventory, not charge the customer for it as much. So
yeah, as much, keyword as much.
I can use this inventory, not charge as much, lower the threshold to when I can attribute, and then make it defaulted so I can attribute all of those. People will give us more money.
Yeah.
They literally have tricked everybody. I mean, it's the perfect coup.
Well, it's funny because I don't even think they realize giving us this data allows us to kind of see that.
Well, you know what's funny is like the 7 of us are like, we're pissed. Like,
yeah, exactly. No, yeah. Well, you have to know exactly what's going on, but I mean that's how companies scale. So I'm fine with that. Exactly. I'll work with the larger companies.
Well, I'm saying like the 7 of us that actually know how to read this data and interpret it. We're like, wait a minute. Everyone, 99.99% of everyone else is like, I don't know, Google, here's more money. Thanks, PMax.
Yeah. ROAS looks better. Cool. I'll give you a 36x ROAS, John.
Right. All of a sudden the resistance were like, no, this is wrong. That doesn't look right. Everyone else is like, it's 3,600% ROAS, dude. Shut up. I'll get another paycheck this month. Wait till that goes into my Looker report.
Yeah. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for more people to see, oh my God, what's going on? It's Black Friday and we didn't do as good as last year. ROAS isn't looking as good. Well,
hey, that's right. We don't work with those clients. No, ROAS doesn't look good. Oh, wow. Surprising. Like, I'll bid only for your brand name. Trust me. You want 21,000% ROAS? I just did that last week. Obviously, it didn't mean shit.
Can't scale it.
Yeah, it's wrong people. So I think I know we have a few minutes left. But this is fun. This is now like our tinfoil hat. Like, all right. Conspiracy theories. Another way to say conspiracy theory is spoiler alert. That's
been the trend with Google over the past 2 years now, 3 years.
Yeah,
probably longer.
We're gonna develop more conspiracies that will turn into more spoiler alerts. But that's what's kind of funny. That's what's happening right now. We're gonna be in a whole heap of headache when YouTube moves into demand gen. That's gonna be fun. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. So stay tuned. Because we'll be testing the ever living shit out of that. But this is really, really kind of cool stuff. I mean, this Performance Max it's not a small company. This company is very big. They make like 3 or 4 million a week. Like they're not dummies. But Performance Max tricked them. And probably is tricking everyone else too. So yeah, it's gonna be cool as this progresses. What else we can find out, what else we can cover, and even if feeder strategy is worth a damn or not, it might be not even worth it at all.
Well, I mean, it might have worked before, and now it doesn't. So, no, it makes sense. I think we'll have to get more tests in a line, especially in just the school community. But I think one things that I do want to explore more is, with YouTube becoming a bigger risk for companies to go into. It might be one of those things where we just go into like those leading indicators with, target CPV or CPM and just look at the creative spend and look at the actual like, click-through rate and see, okay, how does this actually translate to global sales, and track the halo effect versus conversions in the mix as well.
So that'll put a lot more emphasis on your targeting capabilities too. If you're running broad, you're probably going to die. But if you're like, hey, this audience, this male versus female, this zip code or affluent area with this hook to this audience, this hook to that audience, like going old school, like TV, like target demographic, their pain points, matching a user, make sure it's like a middle-aged female brunette, which always typically does the best. I mean, going old school like that is going to be, it's going to be cool. If they kill conversion action campaigns within YouTube by pushing it into demand gen too much, the bad advertisers out there, which means not the people here, but the people that are just like, I don't know, run it and hopefully, no one looks at it too much and hopefully the ROAS is good. Those people are done. They're gone. They're wiped.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because Meta is the opposite.
Right.
So it's kind of like, okay, YouTube, you do that. Meta, you don't. How's that? Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I think we're going to also, maybe this will be in the next, coming weeks, talking a bit more about the Meta side of things with the feeder strategy over there. So
I love it. I have a 100% increase in efficiency this last 14 days. So we'll do next week will be a Meta campaign autopsy as to why it went well. So that'll be fun. We'll be able to do that. And we're continually making our feeder strategy flip-flop. So we went from like 10% of the budget of traffic and 90% conversions. This last week, we're at 70, 30, 65, 35. In the next 2 weeks, we want to be like flip-flop 70, 30 up to 80. So we're taking the standard, moved it this way, and now we're going to be completely turning it around. Our traffic campaign this last week has beat our conversion campaign in first click NCAC.
On Wicked or? Okay, gotcha. In platform though? No.
Yeah, in platform too.
Oh, wow.
Our traffic campaign has officially outperformed our conversion campaign.
That's crazy.
But it's not a traffic campaign. It's a conversion campaign that is getting the objective of a page view. So our tag fires, which means our frequency is high with no exclusions, open targeting, and first click NCAC is better than an actual conversion-based campaign. Fucking insane. So that'll be next week. Stay tuned for that. That'd be fun.
Jeez. I love it.
Also, awesome. I swear a lot. So if you're like 7 years old, you can't join. I'm sorry.
No, it's awesome. I'm excited. I really, really think the push for like a traffic and then a conversion-based campaign, even though in Meta it's kind of in between, makes so much sense for so many marketers. So traditional funnels, they're coming back.